I'm Zoe Monk, I'm married to Chris, and I'm mum to Samuel and Toby. Samuel has a condition called ARX, which it means Aristotelis-related homeobox. He has smoothness of the brain, and he's missing his corpus callosum, which separates the left to the right parts of his brain. His symptoms are that he has severe epilepsy, he has multiple seizures every day, can be anywhere from 5 to perhaps 20 seizures a day. His epilepsy is very extreme. He has a very unique seizure treatment plan than other people with epilepsy have. For Samuel, he has the seizure for 15 minutes or more before he has a rescue medicine, which I think is a bit unusual. But when over the summer, he was earning his rescue medicine at least once a day. Part of Samuel's condition is that he has what they call global development delay, and for Samuel that means that his development is nil. He's never progressed developmentally, so at nearly 4 he's basically like a big baby, and he has never reached a milestone. I went in for a growth scan when I was about 30 weeks. The growth side of things turned out to be fine, but they found there was excess fluid in the brain and swollen ventricles. They couldn't really tell us very much, but to expect some level of learning difficulties, and there was a potential risk for epilepsy. Samuel's condition, ARX, is extremely rare. He also has a rare form of that rare condition. We got the confirmed diagnosis when Samuel was roughly about 4 or 5 months old, and we had a meeting with the genetics doctors to talk about what that would mean for Samuel, but also his prognosis. Unfortunately, the life expectancy for Samuel's condition wasn't very good, and we were told to prepare ourselves for Samuel not reaching his first birthday. In fact, the genetics doctor was quite convinced that we would lose Samuel within a matter of months, from either his epilepsy or from a severe infection, something like even a chest infection. That was always difficult to live with, and we had to prepare family the fact that we might not have Samuel for very long, and I think that was extremely difficult. Samuel turns 4 next month, so he's proved the doctors wrong, and he's always proved the doctors wrong. He makes up his own rules, Samuel. He doesn't read the textbook, but it's wonderful because it means that Samuel's still here, and he's I think a contented little chap. He doesn't play, he doesn't interact in the way that a 4-year-old should do. He doesn't experience things the way a 4-year-old should do, but I think in his own little world, I think he's very content. He's very well loved. He's got a lot of people who care about him and look after him. Since Samuel was 10 months old, we joined Julia's house, which has been fantastic for us as a family, not just for Samuel. Up until then, we didn't know anybody in our position with a child like Samuel. We were quite isolated, and I think we were quite put off joining Julia's house to start with because we were very aware of it was a hospice. But that side of things, it's just a corner of what Julia's house do. For a child Samuel's age, it's a fantastic nursery, and for the older children, it's a wonderful youth club, really. It's opened a big door for us to a wonderful community. We've met so many families that are in the same position as us. Overnight, he needs lots of monitoring. He obviously has seizures overnight, and he needs to be repositioned quite regularly. So having overnight care has just been amazing. I'm not quite sure how we coped without it before. We have, at the moment, we're having 7-night care, but normally it's 5 nights. But Samuel's been quite poorly this year, so we've been allowed some extra hours, and that's been invaluable. Particularly, obviously, we've got another son now. We've got Toby, who's 9 months. So being able to get a good night's sleep it's just invaluable, really, and that's been really helpful. And when Samuel's been poorly, the carers come in and sit with him so I can have a break from the hospital. So joining Julie's house has been amazing, and it's enabled us to just to kind of feel more normal, really. Samuel goes to Langside School, which is a specialist school. I think only has around, possibly something like 30 children. And he goes there 4 days a week. At school he has all his physiotherapy, He has hydrotherapy once a week. They do all the sensory play therapies. He regularly sees a speech and language therapist. They have wheelchair clinics there, so his chair gets looked at. There's an occupational therapist there, but the main reason why we can send Samuel there is that they've got a lot of nurses, medical support there that can look after a child like Samuel. Since Samuel started school, ourselves and actually his carers, some of his carers as well, have said that we really do feel that he's more tuned in. It's like he's more tuned into the world around him, his environment. It's very subtle, but he's more aware of what's going on around him, and when people are interacting with him and touching him and talking to him and things like, and he's touching things, he just seems more tuned in. I don't think if anybody met him for the first time would be really aware of it, but certainly people who've known him for quite a while have seen quite a change. I mean, it's almost a year now since he started school, so I think it's really had a really kind of positive effect for him. Samuel's morning starts from about 5:30 when he has his reflux medicine, and then at 6 o'clock he has his feed. He's pump fed through gastrostomy. He's got a little button on his tummy. He takes nothing orally, so everything goes through his tummy. So he's hooked up to his pump, and that's about an hour and a half feed. And at 7 o'clock he has all his medicines. There's quite a lot of medicines to give Samuel for his epilepsy, and also he has things like a vitamin medicine as well. If his dad's home, we go out for the day. We do all sorts of things. We try to be as normal as possible. We've got Toby now as well, so we don't want Toby to miss out on activities, going to the park, going on swings, doing things that normal children do. And Samuel's quite happy as long as he knows he's got company, and he's got people with him, and he's got cuddles and attention. Samuel always seems very happy. One of the main differences is we just take a lot of equipment with us. If we're going out for a long day, we take Samuel's suction machine with us. We've always got oxygen in our van, and obviously we take his feed pump with us. We take emergency medicines with us. So there are lots of things we have to take with us. But when we go out and about, really, we are just like a normal family. I don't think that much is different, really. We were very keen to have a second child, but there was always the risk of passing Samuel's condition on. I'm a carrier of the condition. We've since discovered that since having Samuel. It's a defect on the X chromosome, and obviously I have two X's, but boys only have one X, so they're more vulnerable to developing the serious symptoms of the condition. It was a 50-50 chance that I would pass the condition on. We went down the steps of having IVF to ensure that it was a safe pregnancy and that I wouldn't be passing it on to another child. And Toby is a very well and healthy boy. Before I had the children, I worked in PR and marketing for local government. When I was pregnant with Samuel, I had every intention to go back to work, but then when Samuel was born, it was evident so quickly that he was poorly, and he is going to need a high level amount of care. We spent 8 weeks in neonatal, and it was during that time that I think I looked at Chris and said, I can't go back to work, and he was like, no, you can't. And we didn't know how on earth we'd make it work, and it's been difficult. You know, obviously I don't earn any money anymore, so it's things like that have been a bit tricky, but we've managed, and yeah, and I don't think I could do anything else, really. I couldn't go back to work at the moment. I'd have to have an incredibly sympathetic employer, because I wouldn't be the terribly reliable employee. I think when I left my work, and everyone knew I was leaving my work, I think people found it difficult to know how to approach it and what to say. And I did get some messages saying, "I'm very sorry to hear about your son. I'm very sorry to hear about your baby," and they'd make it sound really, really dreadful, because we still had Samuel. You see, we were very much in love with Samuel, and we wouldn't change a thing. You know, obviously I'd cure him. I'd cure him if I could, but we wouldn't change a thing. We love having Samuel. We adore him, and people were talking like he had passed away or something. I found it very difficult to deal with people that were saying things like that, because I wanted people to celebrate Samuel, and particularly as we thought we had we know that we've got limited time with Samuel. We know Samuel's not going to be an old man, we know that. But at that point in the early days, we really thought, we didn't think Samuel would reach his first birthday. The fact that Samuel goes to school is amazing. Not just that because of his condition he can go to school despite having all these seizures and being so poorly. It's the fact that he's still here and can go to school is pretty awesome, really. I think that's why I enjoy him going to school so much, because I couldn't even contemplate the idea of school because we just didn't think that he'd still be here for it, being honest. And I find people's pity difficult to take, really. They feel sorry for us, and there's lots of head tilts and so sorry to hear about Samuel and things like that and stuff. I mean, feel sorry for Samuel. I mean, Samuel goes through a lot, and he's in hospital a lot and prodded and poked, discussed, he goes through a heck of a lot, but we're quite a happy family, really, and and looking forward to having him home next week for half term and going out and about and enjoying being a family. We feel so blessed, you see, and I think that's what we find difficult to take from people is when they feel that kind of sorry for us, and because we feel so lucky to have Samuel, really. I've never really understood when people say about taking each day as it comes and things like that, but I think we do with Samuel, and we just enjoy every day with him, really, and I don't think we do plan too far ahead. We look forward to his birthday next month and this Christmas, and then his brother's birthday in January, but I wouldn't look ahead to next Christmas and things like that. And sometimes I feel I don't want to. I feel it's dangerous to look too far ahead, because we are aware that Samuel has such a severe condition. He's had a very poorly year. He's had lots and lots of infections. So we do, I think, live cautiously. It's trying to find that balance, because we've got Toby and we want Toby to enjoy life and to look ahead and to make plans. And we're really excited about that. We're really excited about Toby growing up, and although I think he's growing up a bit too fast for our liking, and that's been different. That's been so different having Toby. It's been like we're new parents. He's just bang on all his milestones, if not a little bit ahead. He's very mobile. He's very active. He's a very healthy mainstream child. So that's been such a different contrast. To Samuel never reached a milestone, and actually Toby got ahead of his brother very early on, which was difficult. It was sometimes a bit difficult, really, because for us, I think, and it kind of did remind us how limited Samuel's development really is. But we've never known Samuel any different. He's always been our big baby, so I don't know him. He's never talked, he's never smiled, he's never laughed, he's never done things. So it's not like we've missed out on that. We've just never known him any other way. So it's quite easy to accept it, really. And we want to always make sure for Toby that Toby's going to grow up knowing lots of things to do with medical conditions and understanding about medicines, and there's things that Toby will know and understand at a very early age that really I'd rather he didn't have to, but we really want Toby to really have a fulfilled life and to enjoy Samuel and to enjoy being Samuel's brother.